sent in a self-tape. It was in my spam folder.
Wow.
He had no representation, and it was phenomenal. He actually shot it like he went, and it looked like he's in a hospital. He had a hospital bed. He sat there with flowers. Like he created the scene.
Wow. 6 films that are currently filming or in post, 16 that are in various stages of development, and over 140 movies or TV shows you've been involved with in the casting process. Let me say this. I've never seen Wonder Woman and Shannon Makhanian in the same room. Are you Wonder Woman?
You're so cute. I was 4 years old when I watched Bela Lugosi and Dracula. And fell in love, and I was like, I want to be a part of that.
Wow.
My parents moved us to Oregon.
From where?
From Thousand Oaks.
From California to Oregon and then back to California.
I was plotting since I was 8 when they moved us to like 20 acres in the middle of the mountains to come back to California so I could be a part of this.
Exactly. So you saw this Dracula movie, and now today, what types of movies do you gravitate toward as far as watching, or gravitate toward as far as casting? What would be your favorite to cast?
I made a point. This is literally when I first started, I would say I will always do horror films.
Yep.
It's horror, supernatural, sci-fi is my holy trinity.
Horror, supernatural, sci-fi.
Yes.
That's your go-to. If you're going to be at home watching something, that's what you prefer.
When we go out to the movies, like we just saw Insidious.
So you're not like a G.I. Joe Retaliation kind of girl. You'd rather go to see Insidious and all the scary ones and the horror ones and the sci-fi.
Smile is still the best one so
Smile,
far,
yeah.
which was last year's.
Yes.
I have not had a film this year from the horror genre that has
that you liked as much as Smile. Wow.
It was a surprise. It was like very well done.
It was very well done.
And it was like I did not see it coming, and there's no stars. The biggest name was Judy Reyes and Cal Penn, and then my friend Kyle Gowner, who's amazing.
This is another reason why I know that you're a great casting director, is you know every actor out there. No matter what she or he had done, you know everything. You know all their credits. You know what they've been in. You have this cornucopia of knowledge for casting.
Not anymore.
Since when? Every time I talk to you, you're telling me people who I never ever heard of.
Okay, but this is the thing that happened. So in like 2019, there was over 531 scripted series on air.
Okay, 531 in 2019, yes. How about now?
I think we're down to 432.
It's like 100 less.
Because after the pandemic.
Yes,
but
yes.
The whole thing that happened is like, I was talking with a manager. We were laughing at like, no one can know all the actors now. There's
so many. Well, because we have all these new ways to consume, acting from all these different streamers and stuff like that, as well as online and, conventional ways. Yeah.
As well as you have Instagram and YouTube, so it's like.
Do you, as a casting director, watch TikTok for talent, or just as for fun, or do you not watch it at all?
I do not have the bandwidth in my life to take on TikTok.
That's a double entendre, I think you're using there with that.
No, it's true though, because like I keep up with Instagram, and my phone is really full, and I'm waiting for August to come out with a new iPhone so that I can get a phone with more storage this time.
Then you were able to consume more TikTok?
No, I still.
Oh, I see. Still no more TikTok.
My daughter, Ellie watches.
Sure, Ellie. Yes, she's one of my go-to social media when I ask questions. She's my go-to.
So that's how I see TikTok. She sends me the videos.
Oh, okay. Because I know you're up on names and stuff like that. So okay, you get it from your daughter, who's feeding you. Like she narrows it down to what you need to see and who you need to see, because you do know you're on that pulse of people emerging. Now there's somebody that you actually discovered who I see works all the time now. One of the first people you cast, he was just in a movie, Jack Kesy. Jack Kesy.
Jack Kesy actually just wrapped. He was Hellboy.
12 Strong. The new Hellboy. Yes, he's the new Hellboy. 12 Strong, new Hellboy. Yeah, he's that. So you cast him in what movie?
Dude, I cast him in a few movies. I'd have to look at my IMDb.
Really?
Yeah.
You are that true casting director who calls in the people that you see the talent in, you see their, who they are, like, oh, I can bring this person when you know the part's right for them. He's a specific kind of look.
Oh, he's great. I compared him to being like, Ryan Gosling crossed with Russell Crowe when I first saw him. Young version of Russell Crowe.
Yes.
But so I had a movie that was casting called Liquid Blood. It was a really good script.
Yeah.
It had James Purefoy, Sean Bean, and Abigail Breslin.
Okay.
Cast, but it was a great role for him. He sent in a self-tape. It was in my spam folder.
Wow.
He had no representation, and it was phenomenal. He actually shot it like he went, and it looked like he's in a hospital. He had a hospital bed. He sat there with flowers. Like he created the scene. He and everything. And at the time, he was living on a friend's floor in Brooklyn.
Wow.
So I reached out to him directly. I pushed him to the lead director, loved him, and the producers said they needed someone with a name. So he did not get that job. But what I did with that audition was call a manager that I knew and an agent who the manager was on. She's like, I'm on vacation. I'm on a yacht right now. I'm like, I don't care. I need you to go. Do you have Wi-Fi? And she was like, yes. And I'm like, okay, go open your Wi-Fi. Like, I just sent this to you email. Watch this tape. She's like, she watches it. She called me back. She goes, tell him he has a manager.
Wow. This is like the greatest story that people, that actors and stuff want to hear. Casting directors actually, they watch everything. Even if it's in their spam folder, they'll find it. And you went the extra effort to help this guy find representation, and you call him in for roles, and you keep calling him back for different things.
There was actually a job that I was in the middle of the casting, and they weren't responding to anybody for the role. And I texted him, where are you? He was in Beverly Hills, and we were kind of in that area, and I was like, can you come over right now? He did.
Wow.
He met them, auditioned cold, and booked the job.
Wow.
Those are fun.
That really has to give you that kind of satisfaction, because what it does is it shows you that you know what you're doing. It shows that you have this talent to discern talent and to, champion that. And you're the casting director that is able to put yourself out there and say to the producers and directors, you got to see this guy. You're going to be blown away. And then they deliver for you, which is great also. He's been working nonstop since probably one of his first movies that you cast him in, because I looked at his credits and it was like 2016, 2017, 2017, 2018, like nonstop working, boom, boom, boom.
So by the way, actually, his very first audition, I didn't get to cast him first. His next audition was a self-tape for Michael Mann, who flew him out to LA.
Wow.
And the casting director actually walked him out of the room and asked for his number. Then it was like, oh my God, you're gonna be a big star. And I was like, it made me feel good because she's a good casting director.
Yeah.
And then his second self-tape after that was for Guillermo del Toro, who hired him off the tape for his series.
Wow. And yet here he was, just nobody, laying on the floor of his buddy's place. But he went the extra effort. Now, that's interesting. He actually got a hospital bed or just made it look like a hospital bed?
I don't actually know. I didn't ask him that question. But what he did is the way they shot it.
Yeah.
And he's like this, talking to somebody that's unconscious with the tubes and stuff in the bed.
Wow.
Because the role was actually pretty dark. I think he put that person in the hospital.
Okay, yeah.
But he actually went the extra mile to make the scene look authentic.
You hear, as an actor, a lot of times people say, oh, just film it. They just want to see how you look on tape. They want to see, but you're saying if you can create that atmosphere as much as possible and have the acting chops, it goes a long way.
What I notice is if the actor is in that space where they're an open vessel and they're channeling the role, if they feel it or think it, it's in their eyes.
Oh, you're internalizing, the actor's internalizing it, that role, that act, he's not acting, he is that person at that time. And you could see that.
Which is why you know how big it is on a big screen.
Sure.
That's why they always tell you not to
overdo it, because every little.
Which I'm terrible at.
Well, that's why you're behind the camera, not in front of it.
Exactly. I was in radio.
You're radio, so you're also, again, just in front of a microphone. So, you cast some very interesting movies also. They're not necessarily all very commercial mainstream. A lot of directors go to you for those interesting movies that are not typical 4-quadrant type movies. You know what I'm saying? The interesting thing about those kinds of movies is you have to have certain actors who really have chops to be able to pull off a really creepy kind of character and stuff like that. As great as George Clooney is, I can't see George Clooney as some kind of ridiculously creepy kind of guy. It's not his role, you know what I'm saying? But all these actors, I know this actor, he can do
John,
this,
you go to John Hawkes or Crispin Glover or something.
All these people that you know very well.
But there's also George Clooney was in the Dusk Till Dawn is probably the dark,
He was great in that movie. I felt like
that's the darkest.
That's the darkest he's ever gone. You're right. And I loved him in that movie.
Because he's a hero.
He's a hero. He's not going to be a good, crazy villain. You know what I'm saying?
I always love actors as they're
sure.
The Gary Oldmans, the Joaquin Phoenix.
Sure.
That's one of the best villains ever created.
Sure.
Because you cannot judge a villain. I always tell people, do not judge the character because everyone's doing their own movie and they're the hero of their own movie.
Yes. You have to be a little off.
For him, it was his father. He could not get his father's love, no matter what he did.
And an actor or as a human? Okay. I was just checking.
Character.
Right.
So it's he tuned into that, which is a very relatable for a lot of people, to trying to get a parent, doesn't matter which parent.
Sure.
Someone's love and approval that they're, for whatever reason, not willing to or not able to give.
Yeah.
And that then corrupts that person even more because they're in constant turmoil and pain, because they're not getting the love of their primary caregiver. He was able to create a character that everyone could relate to and feel compassion for.
And this is the Joker?
No, that
Oh.
was amazing too. I was
Yeah.
talking about Gladiator.
Oh, Gladiator. Oh, okay.
When he was playing basically Caligula.
Oh, yes.
He was so good that in fact I was rooting for him. I was mad at his sister
Right,
for not sleeping with him.
Right.
I'm like, don't you understand? He's in pain and he loves you, and she
Yeah.
drugged him and then he passed out in the middle of it.
But this is why you're such a good casting director, because you actually get it. You understand the process of acting, what an actor has to go through. You know, a lot of people think, oh, casting, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't. But no, you have to be like this. You have to know the process. You have to know the kind of actor. You have to know when you're calling somebody in, can this person deliver this kind of stuff? Not like, I'll just call them in because they kind of look like the part. No, it's like, this person can deliver this, and they also have a look, or they don't have a look, but they can deliver it. So let me bring them in anyway, see if the director will understand, my game plan here with this. So that's pretty cool. What are the hardest types of movies or TV to cast? Drama, comedy, be it these kinds of, dark psychological thrillers, or are they all the same?
No, they're not all the same.
Oh.
Horror is like my favorite, one of
It's
my
your favorite,
favorites.
yeah.
However, it's the hardest one to cast females.
Wow, really?
Because a lot of the women, they'll do it like their first movie, but unless it's a Blumhouse or a studio film,
Sure.
there's a lot of prejudice against horror films.
Oh,
I find action films are difficult to cast. Again, also if it's not a studio with a big budget, if it's like
Wow.
you're paying Jason Statham or who are the action people?
The Rock.
Yeah, all the movies I don't watch.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yes.
It's my least favorite genre. Actually, action. If it's like Tom Cruise,
Yes.
you put Tom Cruise running in anything.
Yes.
Hey,
Well, that's kind of redundant because he runs in everything. Yeah, he runs in every single movie. And again, yes, he was great in this last Mission Impossible.
it's amazing.
And he did pretty much single-handedly save Hollywood.
I was just
So-
going to say that. I'm so mad you said that because I was
Oh.
going to say that he's single-handedly responsible for saving the film industry.
Really?
I do think that. He got people back in the theater.
did.
Do you remember all the promos he was doing during the pandemic?
I remember that. And I remember right before that, people were trying to get him from the backstage thing, but it just shows his commitment. We had on the podcast a couple weeks back, Kurt Wimmer, who he did Salt with Angelina Jolie. But before that, it was called Edwin A. Salt. And he got to meet with, because it was Tom Cruise was starring in it. So he was meeting with Cruise at Cruise's place for like a month or 2 months, in retailing the script, tooling the script for Tom Cruise. And he's like, this guy is so committed. Kurt changed his writing style because he saw the commitment in Tom Cruise and all that stuff. So he was like, wow, this guy he's the real deal. And so
you can tell, like, Tom Cruise cares.
He does care.
More than cares about film more than anybody I know. And I love that.
Yes. Yeah, he's the real deal.
Mission Impossible was amazing.
Yes.
The other action film that I loved was The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Sure. With Nicolas Cage. I mean, how can you go wrong with Nicolas Cage?
No, I loved it. He's great.
You work with Nicolas Cage. You work with you work with Nicolas Cage, Nicole Kidman. You work with some people and your projects you've been involved with. So
that movie was so special because what I love about Nicolas Cage is whatever he does, he is balls out.
he is committed.
He's committed and he goes for it. He swings for the fences every single time.
And they're all different types of movies. It could be the most far out, crazy movie concept, or an action movie, or a simple comedy. He does everything, and he does it very well.
Kick-Ass, I went to see in the theaters 5 times. I paid
Really?
5 times. There's only one other movie I did that with, which was The Matrix. I saw it 5 times.
Oh wow!
In the theater, and I actually took my daughter to it twice.
Wow.
Kick-Ass, which is
Kick-Ass,
not
yeah.
a kid's movie.
Not a kids movie, even though there are kids in the movie. Speaking of kids, back when there was Third Rock from the Sun was an actor named Joseph Gordon Levitt. And then after that,
Sorry, get off my I love Joey.
yes, you cast him in something.
He was the kid from Third Rock.
He was just, at the time, he was the kid from Third Rock from the Sun. And then what was the project that you helped him with?
So we met him on Mysterious Skin
Okay.
at the Bourgeois Pay.
Oh, yeah, Franklin. Yes.
And he did not want to audition for the role. I was like, "You're Neil," and he's like, "I don't like that." I responded to Neil. I'm like, he wanted to play Brian. I was like, "No. Trust me. If you do Neil, it's going to change your life and change your career because it's the flashy role. And Brian is the more like internal. It's the one who thinks he's abducted by aliens."
Oh,
and,
okay.
We made a deal, which was I would let him audition for Brian if he would audition for Neil.
Nice.
And so, and after he did the audition, Greg Rock was like, "He's Neil."
Wow.
And it was amazing, by the way. He was like so phenomenal, and it's really nice because even to this day, like I have young men that are like 20s
Sure.
coming up, and that's like one of their favorite movies. It's
Oh,
a very
wow.
powerful film. And Joey's work in it is like, it's one of those things that's hard. It's like, if that was not an independent, but it's so dark, of course it wasn't independent.
Yes.
And kind of like that was a performance that was worthy of an Oscar.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm being like,
Sure.
That is,
No.
I'm not trying to say, oh, like my movie was so great.
No, but yeah.
And he actually went to Kansas and he went to a baseball game to study and listen and use that guy's voice and accent
That was his research.
on his own dime, by the way.
Oh, wow.
He flew to Kansas.
Well, he had that Third Rock from the Sun money. That thing that ran for a while. I mean, you could just live off of that the rest of your life in syndication. But still, he put on his own dime to go do his research. I like that.
By the way, he could have spent the rest of his life
Yes,
just living off.
absolutely. I know. Yeah, that's that NBC syndication money after you're on a show for 5 seasons plus. You're set.
And
If you
he
get to
did.
100 episodes. No, but and then he just been doing big movies. I mean, he was in Inception.
He's a filmmaker.
He is.
He's so intelligent and brilliant and
Yeah.
one of the best actors that I've ever known. And committed. Again, it's that commitment.
Yes. And you helped him to get back into find that path where, you know, maybe he wouldn't have. Without that role, maybe he just would have sat back on that Third Rock money. I don't know.
Well, so what happened too is that I was casting Brick for a long time. We actually cast someone else.
Uh-oh.
And at the time, for that actor, who's one of my very dear friends, I won't name because I'd had him attached.
Okay.
The agent called, which was from William Morris at the time. He's no longer there.
Okay.
And said, I would rather my client sit on his ass for the next 6 months than do an independent feature.
This is for Joseph Gordon Levitt?
No,
Oh,
this was for the person who had been cast.
Oh, I gotcha. Yes.
and
yes.
and we were just about to start shooting. The film fell apart because of this.
Oh.
And that agent didn't sit on their ass for 6 months. The actor sat on their ass for a year.
Oh.
Didn't get a job for an entire year. And
Wow.
ended up on a medical show that had already been airing for 10 to 11 years at the time.
Mm.
And he joined it thanks to that agent.
Wow. Interesting.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
So when I cast I met Joey on Mysterious Skin. I went to Ryan Johnson and was like, I found Brendan. This is Brendan. And I set them up for a lunch meeting.
Let me ask you about surviving process. What's changed now since COVID in the casting process? You know, I know that is everything now online.
I was going to say, you can see that my thumbs and my ring finger are
Yes.
swollen.
And that is from why?
Because everything's going to self-tapes.
Everything's self-tapes now. Seems like
I hate
100%,
them.
if not very close to.
Yeah, I hate them very much.
You'd rather be in the room with the actor.
Yes. We used to see, the most I ever saw in one day was 85 people.
85 people. Now you're getting how many tapes you have to look at?
And because of the way the system is,
Yeah.
and I also open every when we get the submissions on Breakdown, I literally, because I came from Jane Jenkins and Jenna Hershenson.
Yes, to the biggest.
And best. And I
Yeah.
open everything. So I still have to
Good.
go through all of the, 5,000.
People happy to hear this. 5,000.
Every single time you do a breakdown, you get between 2,000 to 5,000 or more
Wow.
submissions. And I actually go through all of them because I would feel bad because,
Wow.
and this is hard, like, because you can't watch 700, 800 auditions.
Can't.
It's really hard. And
650 tops.
So I try to go to between 300 and 500.
Wow, really?
Yes, which is out of 5,000
Right.
sometimes. And it's a lot. And yeah, I've got carpal tunnel and
Yeah. Is there a way to make that a faster process or no?
dude, I'll work till 3 or 4 in the morning now.
Yeah, I know. You're
I'm
always
just watching
working.
tapes instead of being able to we go in person. You are getting up, standing down. I have also we're just sitting at a computer all day now.
Oh, yeah.
You meet the actors, you work with them. There's the in-person energy.
You feel that energy with somebody. Yeah,
They're
well, you're a
performing
true.
with someone, and there's
casting.
energy going back and forth.
Yeah. And you mentioned Ryan Johnson a minute ago. You've worked with some big directors. And also a lot of these people you've also worked with repeatedly, which shows that they know you know what you're doing. And that's why they call you in to cast. That's, I said, 141 past movies and TV show credit. From your stance as a casting director, how long are you there before they're like, okay, we got this, thank you, and all that kind of stuff?
I can tell you the longest one was 9 years.
9 years?
I made $5,000.
Oh my God, $5,000 a night. That's only not even $400 a year.
Yeah.
Give or
Indie
take.
casting does not.
Independent casting, sometimes it's tough. You got to do it, but you got to have the love for it.
Yes.
Because sometimes you have to be 9 years before you get paid. And when you're getting paid, you're only getting paid pittance of what you should be paid.
I cast and recast that film 3 times.
Wow.
But it was a passion project.
A passion project.
By the way, I did 3 films dealing with child abuse, molestation,
Yes.
sex trafficking.
You're that go-to person for those kinds of movies. You know how to cast them.
They were important, and this
Yes,
is
they're very important.
25 years ago.
Oh my.
And it's upsetting to me that now it's become more awareness about it.
Yes.
But it's upsetting to me that it's still a thing. So,
Exactly. It still needs to be told. These projects still need to be made because we're still not where we should be.
Yeah,
in
and
the world.
the Jim Caviezel movie, I think is doing pretty well. I mean,
Jim Caviezel,
the movie that is called something Freedom.
the one that's out right now.
Yes.
Yeah, it's doing really well. It's #1 amongst the Christian group of viewers and stuff like that. Speaking of that, get this: you and I, when I was looking up our shared credits, we have worked with 20 people that have worked with me or have worked with you,
Okay.
and yet we never worked together ourselves yet. So the 21st time has to be me and you.
Have we okay, then we need to work on
We
that.
have never worked, but so many people. I had like my AD worked with you on my last movie. My lead of my last movie, Mark Bowen worked with you. I don't know what project, but Mark Bowen was my AD on my last movie. Denise Richards was
She was very nice.
as my last. Yes, so there are people.
I think I've cried for her twice.
You worked with Haley Duff, yeah.
Haley was amazing. She was on my Rob Schneider thing.
Yeah, so she was. I was in a movie with her called Wedding Pact. As an actor. But yeah, so we've worked together. We worked with people 20 different times, 20 different people, but never together. So the 21st time, me and you. That's it. You're amazing. You're wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing so much about the process and all the people that you've been involved with and the projects. Remember, over 140 TV shows and films, mostly films, that she has done. And you probably have another 140 or so left in you in the next 2 years. Because, again, Wonder Woman, Shannon, never the same room together. I wonder why. So nice. All right, anyway, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're wonderful on camera. You should be in front of the camera, not behind the camera. I think we should have a casting director acting workshop thing and put you guys in front of the camera because you're amazing on camera.
Thank you. I prefer to let the actors do that.
Fair enough. Okay, thanks everybody. Peace.
Thank you.